Welcome back to my channel on linguistics and language learning. In this video, I'm going to show you the basic concept of SFG, or the brief concept of systemic functional grammar. Now, first of all, let's study the following clauses. I offer you, or I provide you, two clauses. The first clause is John is easy to please, and the second clause is John is eager to please. And you see that these two clauses are constructed based on the same structure. Well, the first sentence is composed of subject plus be plus adjective plus to infinitive, and also the second clause is composed of subject plus be plus adjective plus to infinitive. However, when these two clauses are constructed using different structure, okay, they don't have the same meaning. In other words, one of them is acceptable based on its meaning, but the second clause is not acceptable. So when we use it is easy to please John, so this structure has the same meaning with John is easy to please. However, the second clause, John is eager to please, when we reconstruct it using the other different structure, it is eager to please John, so the clause is meaningless. Okay, so this is the small basic reason why we need SFG in using our language. Now, let's further explore why we need to use SFG in our language or in structuring our language. Well, SFG is grammar. Okay, SFG is systemic functional grammar, which views grammar as a resource for creating meaning by means of wording. You see here that the meaning is constructed based on how words are arranged. In other words, in SFG, structure and meaning must be integrated. In other words, we cannot separate structure from its meaning. So structure and meaning are inseparable. That is the concept of grammar in systemic functional grammar or in SFG. So, whenever we produce a clause, whenever we produce any structure of language, the meaning must be integrated there. Now, in order to give you further or deeper understanding of the concept of grammar in SFG, let's examine the theory of probability, whether it is acceptable in SFG. Now, I offer you two groups. The first group is composed of 10 marbles, and the second group is composed of 10 words. Now, let's take out, or let's pick up one of the elements of each of the groups. Now, let's take one of the marbles. Okay? It means that we have 9 marbles left. And you see here that the remaining 9 marbles have the equal probability to be picked out to accompany the marble that has been taken. However, when we pick out one of the element or one of the words in the second group, let's say Tom, you see, when we want to take the other member of the groups, the other words, okay, so they don't have the same probability to accompany Tom. Okay, so the remaining 9 words don't have the equal probability to be picked out. What does it imply? it implies that probability theory does not apply in SFG. So, when we take pregnant to accompany Tom, so we create the structure Tom is pregnant. This structure is unacceptable. We cannot say, oh, the structure is acceptable, but it is not meaningful. We cannot say so because the meaning must be integrated whenever we create a structure. Now, let's say in formal grammar, okay, when we take pregnant to accompany Tom and then we create the structure Tom is pregnant, this is grammatically acceptable because Tom is the subject, is the predicate, and pregnant is the complement. So based on the formal grammar point of view, this grammar is grammatically acceptable. However, based on its meaning, okay, when we view this structure based on semantics point of view, this structure is semantically unacceptable. And this never happens in functional grammar or in SFG because whenever we want to create a structure, the meaning must have been integrated there. So there will never be any semantically unacceptable clause in SFG. Now, when we want to use SFG, we have to know the terminology used in SFG because some terms are used for different purposes in SFG. Now, let's compare. In formal grammar, of course, we know the term sentence. However, the term sentence is used as a clause in SFG. So we don't care what type of sentence you have, whether you have a complex sentence or compound sentence or compound complex sentence, all of the sentences are called clauses in SFG. We only use the term clause. Now, for the term phrase in SFG, you are also introduced to the term phrase, but the term phrase in SFG is limited to the group of words which is the result of a reduced clause. Therefore, if you have, for example, smart student, that is not called a phrase in SFG. It is called a group. Okay, so a group is also a group of words without any process, without any predicate in the term or in the terminology of formal grammar. So phrase is limited to a group of words which is the result of a reduced clause. Next, verb. Verb is introduced as a process in SFG. So what kinds of verbs you have in formal grammar, they are called process in SFG. And the other one is the terms subject or object. In SFG, they are called participants. So you don't say subject as the doer, for example. You don't call subject as the element that begins a sentence in formal grammar. They are called participants in SFG. In systemic functional grammar, and this is actually the core of functional grammar, that is language function. There are three language functions in functional grammar. In other words, we use language only for these three functions. The first one, we use our language in order to share our ideas, and this is called additional function. An additional function is divided into two because sometimes we share a simple idea or a single idea, sometimes we share a more complex idea. Therefore, experiential function is especially designed to share a simple idea. Now, whenever we have more ideas to be shared, that is called the logical function of language. Now, we use our language to exchange information, and this is under the interpersonal function of language. So, an interpersonal function of language means clause as exchange, clause as the function or as the tool to exchange our ideas to others. And the last one is how to make our ideas cohesive, how to make our ideas, you see, meaningful, and how other people can see that our ideas are arranged in a good order, and that is the textual function of language. You see that in SFG we learn all of the functions of using language, how we use our language. Okay, so there are three functions: ideational function, interpersonal function, and textual function. Well, that's all. The introduction to the concept of SFG. If you want to know more about SFG, you can also find the videos in my channel to give you more insights about SFG, about the use of SFG in the usage of language. That's all, and see you in the next video.